is hit record after hit record, but it's labeled and they have not paid me in 5 years.
Wow.
She said some of the biggest songs. Only reason why I'm not naming them because I'm protecting the artist.
Right.
But she said they refused to pay me my money,
Mm-hmm.
and she's asking everybody, should I expose them?
Right.
And, you know, the people like, hell yeah. The people just want to hear some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The drama and stuff that brings, and the controversy brings viewership. But she's like, yo, I'm about to go in. She said, there's one artist that paid me, and I still mess with because he pays me direct.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, yo, I've hit songs. She said, I got hits for Drake. She named some of the artists.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, Lil Baby, or the Baby, whoever, I don't know. She said, hit song after hit song.
Right.
She said, I produced, I arranged, I mixed, I wrote some of the lyrics, everything.
Mm-hmm.
She said, they're not paying me, I'm about to expose it.
Right.
So that's all the Most High. You know, give me Ephesians 5 and 11. Get the class. That's all the Most High because we in that time.
Right.
We in that time. Huh? Yeah, cash money.
Right,
Cash money. I'm way back in the 90s.
Yeah. So yeah.
She said, yo, the biggest label in the South, and they have not paid me my money.
Right.
My thing is this, though. Like, I'm going to use Teddy Riley, for example. Teddy Riley said he produced 4 songs for, we talked about this before.
Right.
He produced 4 songs for Boy George, right? He said Gene Griffin was his godfather, was his manager at the time.
Right.
Boy George paid him $200,000 for each track.
Right.
That's $800,000.
Right.
Right? The man said Gene Griffin only gave him $40,000.
Wow.
So he pocketed $760. I mean, $760,000. Yeah, you could at least pay the man $300,000.
Right.
$200,000. You get him for $40,000. So she said the last artist she worked with, they made $500,000 in the first 6 months, just from their single and their shirt. She said he's a big time artist. Since they got hit records, you know them if I say their name.
Right.
What happened?
No, it's amazing.
Oh. Yeah, but anyway, she said, yo, the artist, what happened, the artist got big-headed.
Right.
They took the label, they took their song, they showed what it said. 6 months, they made $500,000.
Right.
Didn't give her no money. And she said it's coming from the top. She said it's coming from the top because that's how the labels do the artists and the people. So they filter it down. So it's about to be on, man. It's about to be on. Because she like, yo, I'm coming and I'm blowing up everybody.
Right.
Look at, we go back to New Edition. Their first album, they got a check for $1.87.
Mockery, man. Mockery.
That really happened?
No,
It would have been a 187. I didn't say it on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It would have been a 187. Yo, where's my bread, son?
Chill, you don't stop, cause it's 187 on an undercover car. Chill, you don't stop, cause it's 187 on an undercover car.
I want to be up over 211. Get with Dre and get caught up in the 187.
You remember, of course, you were around back at those times. I was little. When Candy Girl was out, when Kool & Gang was out, you know they was still in the projects in Boston. That's crazy.
The movie kind of went into that.
Yeah.
That Maurice Starr dude ripped them off.
Yeah.
He ripped them off. And the crazy thing about it was they went on a world tour.
Yeah.
And had to come back to the projects.
Yeah, that's insane.
$1.87.
That's insane.
Even if anything,
we hit records out. Yeah.
If anything, you make money off your tour. A lot of artists said if it wasn't for the tours,
they would be broke. Yeah, they would be broke. Yeah.
Rakim was going into that.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, I remember every night after the show, we count that money.
Yeah.
He said we walking out the show with 5,000,
yeah.
3,000, 7,000. So you get your money from your shows.
Right.
So a lot of artists said, listen, if we relied on record sales,
right.
we would be done. And said the shows got us the money.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the managers would get them shows behind the scenes where they would just get the straight cut. They ain't have to break nobody off. They get them little underground shows here and there. Money go directly to them. They said that's how they was making a lot of their money.
Right.
So she said all this money, and the woman, the artist ain't give her no money.
Right.
So she went to the label. Oh, just wait, be patient, be quiet, don't say nothing, be humble. What you mean be humble? I got bills to pay.
Right.
I got family to feed. I quit my job. She said she quit her job to produce film full time.
Right.
So how you going? Yeah, man, but that's what they do. But she like, yo, I'm about to go in. So I guess Cash Money about to be put out there.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah, man, listen, at the end of the day, like with Teddy Riley and his Godfather, how greedy are you, nigga?
Right.
800,000 back in the Boy George era?
Right.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a couple of million at least now.
Yeah.
Gave the man $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the man said certain songs, like the show with Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
A lot of songs he didn't even get paid for.
Yeah, that's
His Godfather just kept the money.
Mm-hmm.
Just kept it. Because he put himself, somehow he put himself down in the producer credits, and he was getting the bread.
Wow.
See that? So he said if it wasn't for Keith Sweat, he said he was broke. And Keith Sweat came and got it.
Right.
And was like, yo, he said Keith Sweat gave him $30,000, a new car, and let him produce like a couple of songs for him.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody said that's how he got back on.
Right.
And Keith Sweat said, I don't say nothing about my charitable works, I just help people out.
Right.
But he said, since he spoke on it, he said, yeah, I did do that for him.
Mm-hmm.
But you making all these hit songs and you end up broke?
Right.
800 racks? You could have lived off of that back then.
Right.
In the 80s, that's big money. Your uncle, he could have split it with you. $400 piece.
Right.
Back in the 80s, that was bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
That showed you the greed, man.
Yeah.
Right, me, King. Yeah, Ephesians 5:11. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 11. Now she gonna expose. I'm still laughing at myself. I said, so deaf.
So deaf, yeah.
I'm back. I'm waiting.
Functified, man. You
Right,
think the brat. Functified.
The brat is that babies artificially put in her.
Edomite, yeah.
Edomites, right? Read.
Yeah.
We're a long way from so deaf.
Yeah,
Right, read.
functified.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 11, God, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, God, but rather reprove them. So all this stuff coming out, man.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff coming out from Andre Harrell.
Yeah.
They said, they said Diddy is like the Bushes, man.
Yeah.
That man got a body count.
Right.
Remember they said the Bush family, they got a body count.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Diddy is like the Bushes, man.
Right.
So you mess with that man, he gets you killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So that's how these guys do. And what happened to Diddy is that I'm gonna get rich by any means.
Right.
Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just make this. He made a song, make
Right.
this money. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? The man with Diddy is just, I'm gonna get rich however I gotta get rich.
Right.
I don't care if I gotta run around naked in the hotel.
Right.
I don't care if I gotta have people killed.
Right.
I don't care if I get caught. Christopher Williams going down on me.
Right.
Whatever I gotta do to get this money.
Right.
The man he's just a demon, man.
It goes to show you, we had brought this up in another camp one time about polite. Speaking about polite, is that some brothers don't, that, most of these black artists come from poverty. And in their mind, I'm never going back to that.
Right.
And in their mind, once I get this, I will I will lie, cheat, and kill to keep this up.
That was polite.
Yeah.
Polite. He was like, yo, the man said growing up broke
Yeah.
in Brownsville, it traumatized me.
Right. Yeah.
The man said, I don't want to go back to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Remember, even in that movie, John Q.
Right.
Remember Denzel told his son, he said, listen, he said, man, it sucks being poor.
Right.
He said, make sure you have money in life. And remember, he said, even if you got to sell out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? He said, because he was like, yo, being poor sucks, man.
Right.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
The poverty traumatized people so bad.
Yeah.
They like, yo, that's where all the hustlers came from.
Right. Yeah.
That's where all the hustlers came from. They was like, yo, like Nas. That's why Nas got that song Represent.
Right.
He said, love committing sins and my friend self.
Mm-hmm.
Nas said he remember dudes love coming to his house.
Right.
You know, yo, why y'all niggas always want to come to my crib?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yo, because your moms be cooking. They said in the jungle, that was normal to them.
Yeah, yeah.
They said his mother worked and she cooked every day. Like,
Right.
they had a regular household even though they lived in a project.
Right.
He said a lot of times dudes were like, son,
Yeah.
I don't want to go home and just eat bread.
Right.
Your moms be cooking full meals.
Right.
And Nas and his mom telling, hey, y'all come on in and
Yeah.
Oh, if 10 of his friends over, all right, I'm making up for everybody. So
Yeah.
his mother would always let them come in because he was like, yo, some dudes 3, 4 days, 5 days out of the week, they didn't have it. Like, we got a full meal every
Right.
night. So he's like, yo, bring your niggas over for the cut of my crib.
Right.
Yo, son, your mom be cooking, son.
Right.
So that trauma. So that's why he had that line. Niggas like, yo, I'm gonna hit the block. I'm gonna hit Vernon and sell this crack, man.
Right.
And get this money. Niggas tired of starving. Man. I know dudes growing up in the hood, yo, a nigga wanna eat, son.
Right.
A nigga can eat 3, 4 times a day whenever I want now.
And
you know what I'm saying?
To make it spiritual tied in with Diddy, it made him covetous.
Right.
So now it's like you turn, the Most High blessed you with. Now you turn that riches and fame into an idol. Right. So you worship that. So you
worship that, yeah.
Yeah.
You worship that more than you worship the Most High.
Right.
Reading on. Stay on the feet. Yeah, 5. Start at 11 again. The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 11. Yeah. And have no fellowship. Have no fellowship, God, with the unfruitful works of darkness. Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. That's why, even when I was in the world, man, my man I was hustling with, he was talking about starting to like deal with the Colombians.
Right.
And my other man was like, yo, son, that's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, listen, I was like, yo, I'm not trying to make a career out of this drug selling.
Right.
I'm just trying to get a little quick money, son.
Right.
And that's it. You know what I'm saying? He like, yo, we're going to start fucking with the Colombians. I'm like, listen, I'm not willing to put my life out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Them, we had some niggas that'll bust their gun with us.
Right.
But you know them Colombians,
Yeah, they get
vicious. Like Scarface, they'll hang your ass out of a helicopter.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, son, I'm not trying to. I don't want this money that bad. You know what I'm saying?
When you hear about
Escobar niggas, man.
Griselda, that woman Griselda,
yeah.
It's this Jake out there. Before she died, she was dealing with a young Jake.
No, I saw that. I saw the documentary on that.
Yeah. And the Jake,
a brother from Oakland.
The Jake be bragging about it. He goes, he be like, yo, that's I saw little clips of him on his social media. He be like, yeah, that's Boo Boo right there. I miss her, man. That's my boo.
I saw the documentary. Man was talking about how he was smashing her.
Yeah.
On the visits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It was a dude. I forget his name.
Yeah. And
the dude, he was from the Bay Area.
And he had to be brave because.
No, I'm good, brother.
That's a brave Jake because the stuff that she had done to people, having their body dismembered in the bathtub and all that. You know, them Colombians and them
on a documentary.
Yeah.
She told him.
Yeah.
She said, listen, don't play with me.
Yeah.
You know what I have done to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
She found out, I think he had another E.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't play with me.
Just keep that rod coming.
He said he just told the rip,
I gotta cut you off. Or you're gonna get cut off.
No, he said the stuff he had done to people.
Yeah.
Remember, man, a lot of times, I think Kingdom Man is bloody, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got that knife.
Chopping you up in the bathtub, spirit.
Yeah, well, Jake, too.
Yeah.
Jake, you heard about that Jake in Queens? He killed the Jake and chopped his body up.
Yeah,
He was a blood.
Right.
Blood. And he was reformed.
Right.
And a lot of these brothers, they come out and they join these organizations trying to help the young people stay away from crime.
Right.
He was on Rogan show.
Yeah.
On Joe Rogan show. And the police saying they don't know what happened.
Right.
They saying the dude was an ex-convict also.
Yeah.
Went to his house, some confrontation happened, shot the man 4 times.
Wow.
And then chopped the body up.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Necktie.
Right, Colombian necktie, right.
Yo, the man dressed up in drag.
God.
The man dressed up in like 5 different outfits and carried a bike.
It's off, man. That's an off world, man.
I'm still calling the elder weak. I'm still queasy, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I can sit there and chop a body up.
Nah.
Like, call me soft, man. It's all good. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Most I gotta give me that spirit, man.
Right.
When it's time to deal with these Edomites, most I gonna have to put the spirit in us, man.
What's the Ephraimite from Harlem? Paid in full.
Alpo.
Like Alpo, after he tells the story about he shot his man in the back of the head, and when they was dragging a, he said he was dragging a body. Yeah. His pants came down, and he said his rod came off because he was dragging him so far. And he said he started laughing because his rod came off. I'm like, you gotta be sick. That's your best friend, and you killed him, and you dragging him. His pants came down, and he said his rod came. Yeah.
Had to find some way to dump him at, so we wound up taking him in this park on 116th Street in Northwest. I don't know if it's Potomac Park. I think it's called Potomac Park or something. So we wound up taking him over there, and I said, yo, man, we're gonna leave him in the woods. So I said, yo. So we pull over in this real dark. I said, yo, take off his clothes, man. But they won't spot him through the clothes and all that. Take off his clothes, and leave him naked in the woods. So we do that, and we dragging him through the woods naked. So he gets a couple of scratches on his body and his face and on his penis because, you know, we taking him through the wood. We dragging him. So that's how it came about that they thought we chopped off his dick and all that.
That dude was a death angel.
Yeah.
And he got, after a while, he even said it. He just got off just watching other dudes because by the time he got to DC, he wasn't pulling the trigger a lot.
Right.
Letting
his men do it, his henchmen,
So he would just watch. He was talking about how they killed the dude in the van, and he was like, yeah, you know, did his muscles start relaxing?
Yeah.
And then, you know, he shitted on himself.
Yeah.
He pissed on himself. But he's talking about his
like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. Yeah.
But he don't know that we done slipped the revolver to the back to the kid who's gonna hit him in the head. We ran for about 5-10 minutes after we get the gas. Bang, my man hit him. I give the signal through the rear view mirror. My man hit him with the revolver, 2 in the head. All you hear is, once he hit him, because the kid Gary was getting kind of sleepy because we was about to be like, yo, we ain't gonna catch these dudes. So, you know, Gary was getting kind of sleepy, so he's like dozed off for a minute. So he never even seen it or felt it coming. So the kid hit him with the revolver, bow, bow, you know, so the bullets don't go nowhere because in the revolver, they don't pop out. So he hit him in the head twice. Down. Gary, he winds up shitting on himself from his muscles relaxing. Okay. So, you know, he's stinking up the car and all that. So
I like this nigga is sick, man.
Right.
That Gary, it was a dude named Big Head Gary from DC.
Right.
Them niggas were just some cold-blooded killers, man.
Right.
So after a while, he was like, yo, I just got off watching my little shooters do it. So he said, yeah, man, because, you know, his muscles start relaxing, then he shit on himself, and he pissed on himself, just
like he going to the store or something.
Yeah,
and all that, I wasn't scared. No, and all those things, you know, I'm gonna be true. You know, I never cared. I just always wanted to make sure I got away with it and I did it right. But as far as being scared, no, I wasn't really scared. I was more scared dealing with these white folks than anything. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was scared about. Standing in front of that judge and all that. That's when I was scared. But running them streets and doing all those things and all that, no, I wasn't. I mean, I always wanted to get away with it. I never wanted to get caught. But scared, like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I never. Like I said, I was more scared dealing with these, I wasn't scared dealing with the brother man, but I was definitely scared dealing with the other man. Okay.
The man said, yo, we got to the point where killing was nothing, man.
Yeah.
He's like, you had to be about your murder game. Like, sick, man. These guys got to repent. Or, you know, you see the way output went out.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, no praise. All right, let me get things in order here. You know, welcome to the Wednesday wake-up call. Asking all Israelites everywhere to wake up, come back to these law, statutes, commandments, repent, all that good stuff, okay? Because we are most certainly in the last days. All right. Now let me gather up. Stop here. My videos in order because we got some videos this week, of course, as we always do about this time. All right. So, there we go. All right, so giving all praise, honor, glory, respect, and homage to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Shalom to all the Israelites, Kwam Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. We are in the last days. Man, Russia, North Korea, it's some serious things going on. So we gotta see it for what it is and move in the right direction. All right. Chariots in the sky, judgment happening all throughout the four corners. All right. So with that in mind, we are going to get started. Keep in mind, this is Wednesday. So from Wednesday sundown to Thursday sundown, as long as it's not a feast day, it's HOI Unity Fast. And, we ask everybody to join if you can, as long as you don't have any medical issues where fasting could be detrimental to your health, so forth and so on. As long as you're not having to carry a 1,000-pound weight that if you're feeling weak, it might just fall on your head. We don't want that to happen, of course. But some people are used to fasting and can do that. If you're not, you know what I'm saying, you got to build yourself up to things like that nature. But fasting is very good in these last days, getting those spirits off you, getting you more focused. You read the scriptures, you can focus more. So it's a very positive thing in the last days. All right. And I keep saying it's the last days because trust and believe it is the last days. All right. And you're gonna look at some of these videos and be like, yeah, we at the brink. All right. So let's start with Ezekiel 1 and 4. All right. We're gonna start with Ezekiel 1 and 4. So hold that. At the different videos that are going around and about, and these, of course, been in the last couple of days, so everything is pretty much brand new. That's what we like to do here at the wake up, the Wednesday wake up call, Salakia, because we want to give you the most update information available. All right. Let's see, anybody available to read? Itai, are you available?
Con.
Yeah.
I said Salakia, the time you went, I would.
It's up to you, Adawan.
Con. Well, since I, called out your top first, appreciate it though, King. You know what I'm saying? The water. We're gonna see how long we won't be here in this captivity. You know what I mean? We switch it up next week. All right. So let's start with Ezekiel 1 and 4. There are chariots in the sky. Personal story we want to talk about before we get started. But let's bring that out. Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4.
Con. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 4. And everybody have it? Please say Con.
Con.
Con, verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolded itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
So here we are, right? So coming back from North Jersey, right? Coming out the north, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, coming out of North Jersey, you know what I'm saying? Met with the brothers, you know what I mean? HOI, New York, New Jersey. It was a beautiful time. Everybody was having a blast, you know what I'm saying? We read scriptures, we prayed. Brother Yao All was there, you know what I'm saying? SOT, Sons of Thunder. It was a great time, you know what I'm saying? And that was the first fruits, or also known as Pentecost. And coming back home to Philadelphia, driving on the New York Garden State Parkway, right? Me and my wife I saw it, but I'm like, man, that looks like a chariot. And she happened to say, what's that right there? I'm like, I think that's a chariot, because of the way it was flashing. You know what I mean? You see planes in the sky, they flash and everything like that. But this thing was flashing a mile a minute. And, we're looking at it like, definitely a chariot. And it's going across. It's going from left to right. No, I'm sorry, from right to left, right? And I'm like, yo, get your camera, right? So she starts filming it. And so we filmed it, and I'm about to play it. But so when we pick it up, it's kind of like in the middle to the end of it, going from right to left. Okay. So it stops and it hovers there for a while. And that's when we're pretty much quiet. We're looking like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that's not moving. And and I asked her, I think you can hear me in the video. I'm like, that's hovering? I don't think it's moving. And then it starts to go the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? So unless a plane has a reverse or a backup button, and I've seen somebody commented like, that's a plane, it has 3 lights at night and da da da. No, this was not a plane. And you can see all the flashing lights, but you really can't see. She zoomed in a lot, so you can really see how a lot of flashing looks crazier there rather than on camera, because a windshield is pretty dirty. You know what I'm saying? It looks, but it you can't see the background of it going backwards. You might be able to, kind of, if you're paying attention in the very beginning, the way it's moving and it stops and goes back. But let me do enough talking and play the video. And let's get Hebrews 13:2 on deck. All right, Hebrews chapter 13 on 2 on deck, and play the video. Once upon a time in New Jersey. Slack it. On the stage. My fault. I'm having trouble with this mouse.
Oh man. Going backwards.
Now we also
Okay, so with that, right? One thing's for sure and two things for certain. Yeah, John Boy playing in the background, and you know what I mean? I don't think anything happens for a reason. I mean, sorry, things happen for a reason. There's no type of coincidences and so forth and so on. The Most High has perfect timing. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can walk through a war and all the bullets whizzing by you and you cannot get hit. You could be in a tornado alley and a tornado destroys all your neighbors' houses except yours. You know what I'm saying? Seen that in the Maui fire. Maui fire destroyed everything. It was just one house that didn't get touched. And I think they interviewed the guy. He's like, I don't think he had anything special on his house, like some fuel, you know, I can't think of the word, but like that, won't burn the house. I don't think he had anything like that. He's just like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So the Most High is like really on point, pure and simple. You know what I mean? Timing is impeccable, defense impregnable. You know what I mean? Uh, like Tyson says, right? So that in the background, you can hear John Boy saying like, "We had it home, we in the zone, we trying to tell Israel where they wrong." Like, and I don't think that's an accident. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences. You know what I mean? The music illustrated what we were seeing. Like we're headed home. You know what I mean? So one thing we got to do is just stay focused. You know, don't let anything throw you off your square. You know what I'm saying? Don't allow it to happen. You know, because as we're going to see, Israel might not believe us sitting on the corner saying there's chariots in the sky and the so-called UFOs want to come to save us and you know what I'm saying? They're like, ah, you crazy Negro, get a job. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're gonna look at Harvard researchers and people that go to Harvard. I know how much Jake loves people that go to Harvard and Ivy League schools. Like, oh, well, what school did you go to? You know, I went to Brown. You know, I went to the University of Pennsylvania, Walton School. You know what I mean? That's like impressive for Jake. You know what I'm saying? Even though, of course, they built all those schools off our backs of our ancestors, because it all came from slave money, Yale and all that, right? Princeton and all that. But we're not gonna get too deep into that. But let's see what people from Harvard says. Right. Let's bring that out. Hebrews 13 and 2, Bubba Gashar.
Khan, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 2. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Bam. Right. Yeah.
Khan, verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
Yeah, unawares, right? So when you see Lot and in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know what I mean? You know the description of the angels, right? You know, foreheads and wings and everything like that, right? The angels look like people, okay? Going into, you know, our elders saying that, you know, those four faces is like power, you know, the face of an ox, lion, you know what I mean? Just power and might and strength, all the strong characters of um the beast of the world, you know what I'm saying? They're the strongest, the ox is the strongest, the lion's most ferocious. So more of a descript, you know, not rather an actual description, but you know, this is Slack, yeah, turn that off. As you know, power and might rather. Okay. So, you know, just like in Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, they look like regular people. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says don't forget to entertain strangers. You know, you see a stranger walking by, he's 10 feet tall and everything like that. You don't usually see things of that nature, you know, so you're gonna know it's an angel. This is letting you know that you might not even know who you're talking to, you know. So it's very important to treat people with a certain level of respect, not having respect to persons, you know what I'm saying? You look at this guy because he went to Harvard. You're gonna give him, open the door for him. Oh, come on in, you know. Oh, you can sit in this seat. And you're like, oh, you barely graduated high school. You know what I mean? You sit in the back. You know what I mean? Nah, you don't want to treat people like that because you never know. First off, you never know who you're talking to. And secondly, you'll learn more from the person that barely graduated high school than you do for the person that went to Harvard, because he learned everything from what Esau wanted to know. The person that barely graduated high school, didn't graduate high school, he learned on the hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? He learned from experience. You know what I'm saying? The person that you might just dismiss, you know, he might know his nationality, might know where his people came from, might know history. But the person from Harvard, he doesn't know anything. He just knows what they taught him in Harvard. That white people came from the mountains, and millions of years ago, you went from black to white because of the cold in the mountains. Yeah, so in actuality, they're teaching that white people evolved into not having any melanin and getting burned in the sun. doesn't make much sense now, does it? Okay, so let's continue on with what Harvard had to say. All right, then we're gonna learn from Harvard. Okay, and then now let's get Second Ezra's 6 and 17 on deck. All right, get that on deck, and we are going to this next video of Harvard.
The age-old question,
Slovakia.
are we alone? Now we ask the age-old question, are we alone in this universe? A recent study claims aliens could be living among us.
Slovakia, before they knock me off this joint. Fair Use Act, Fair Use Act. This is a teaching moment. So this is protected by the Fair Use Act. Thank you.
For long, humanity has held the cosmos to be the final frontier, with astronomers and scientists scouring the heavens for telltale signs of life beyond our blue planet. For millennia, human beings have looked at the stars, pondering whether we are alone in the universe. From ancient myths to modern science fiction, our fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life has endured. Now, a recent study from Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program has reignited this cosmic curiosity with an astonishing proposition. The aliens may already be living among us, disguised as humans. The intriguing hypothesis suggests that UFO sightings might be more than mere optical illusions or misidentified mundane objects. Instead, they could be evidence of intelligent beings stealthily operating on our planet, perhaps even walking among us in disguise. The researchers envision a range of possibilities, each more captivating than the last. Could these entities be time travelers from Earth's future, seeking to observe their ancestral past? Or might they be the descendants of an ancient, highly advanced human civilization, preserving their legacy in secrecy? The Harvard study on aliens has raised eyebrows, with its startling conjecture that intelligent dinosaurs may not have perished millions of years ago, but evolved into a sophisticated underground society hidden from our view. As far-fetched these speculations may be, they underscore the vast unknown that still surrounds us. The hypothesis is also likely to fuel the debate as we seek to find our potential extraterrestrial neighbors. Bureau Report Beyond World is One.
All right. So, and now that Esau said it, maybe people gonna start believing. That's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? If you white, you right. If you black, you better get back. Go back to school because you don't know what Esau know. You know what I'm saying? So now we got to understand one thing, right? You're like, okay, so Esau said it might be true, right? That's how average Jake believes. What it comes down to is we have to keep in mind that the Most High does everything. So when you see a report like this, that's because the Most High wants a report like that out. You know what I mean? We can't give Esau credit for everything. You know what I'm saying? This is God's work. So it's slowly acclimating, I believe the word is, us to the understanding that we are obviously not alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's scriptures regarding these encounters all the time. So to think that it stopped at one point in time, that'd be pretty naive because there's nowhere that says this is going to stop. You know what I'm saying? They're not coming from where they don't have to come from billions and billions of light years away. This is their planet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what she was talking about. Intelligent dinosaurs evolved into. I ain't getting into all that, but it's the baby steps towards the ultimate disclosure that not only are we not alone, We have never been alone. We are being watched extremely closely. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get Amos chapter 9 and verse 8. We're being watched very closely. All right. And this is like, this earth is like boot camp. You know what I mean? You got to be able to endure, have the endurance to keep going through all the trials and tribulations, just like Job, things he had to deal with. Job is the book of Job letting us know that we're going to be tested here. Okay. And this scripture here lets you know that we're being watched very closely. So when you get it, you can bring it out. Amos chapter 9 and verse 8.
Khan, this is the book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 8. And everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 8. Behold, the eyes of Yahweh thy power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord.
So the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. They're walking around Babylon. Okay. Trust and believe. And prophecy is he's going to destroy it off the face of the earth. Okay. Not other than destroying Jacob. So one thing we got to do, sharpen up, focus. Okay. Being watched. And now Esau said it. People might believe it more, but it is a reality. Okay. We're being closely monitored. All right. Doesn't have to be by people you can see. They have the ability to slip in and out of what you would call dimensions, materialize, dematerialize. When the angel came to Samson's mother, angel just went up in the sky. They have the power to do things like that. Okay. And the Bible has been talking about it for centuries, right? But now it seems like modern technology and Harvard researchers are now catching up a little bit. Okay. But all praise the Most High, you're ahead of the curve. All right. So let's get another. So this is like back to back, kind of very strange. I don't say strange, but that's not might be the right word. Very informative information back to back this week. So what did it say in Daniel? Knowledge is going to be increased. All right, let's talk about it. All right. But let's also get 2nd Ezra 6 and 17 on deck, and we're going to read that after we watch this next clip. Let's begin.
A group of researchers say they've identified at least 7 stars that might be surrounded by super advanced alien megastructures known as Dyson spheres. Yes, I said alien structures, and I know what you're thinking, but just stay with me here, because the basic idea was this. Superior intelligent life might build big structures around their home stars or planets as a way to harness or reuse that energy. A 1960s physicist who came up with this idea, Freeman Dyson, argued that if these structures existed, there'd be so much energy that human scientists on Earth could probably spot it because it would emit a lot of infrared radiation. So in this new study, researchers say they found 7 sources glowing in the infrared, those are their words, but couldn't find an obvious explanation for why these sources are glowing so much, which could mean they're Dyson spheres or something else entirely. And what I'm saying is, what? Space is so crazy. I wish I understood it better. So let's talk to a scientist to help wrap our heads around this. I'm joined now by Professor Jana Levin. She is an astrophysicist and author of the book Black Hole Survival Guide, as well as the Claire Tow Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Barnard College of Columbia University. Professor, first of all, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I tried to explain it a little bit. That was my very dirty version. I was going to be like, yeah, but I'm an English major who just had Google. You you have a PhD in physics from MIT. So how do you explain Dyson spheres?
I think there was an excellent explanation. If you look at where we are relative to the sun, we're very far away. We're the third planet in. And imagine the light that we try to collect, let's say, with solar panels on people's homes or on any roofs to collect that energy. Imagine if you got really close and you caught everything the sun was emitting. It's just a tremendous amount of power. And so Freeman Dyson was thinking about this. Actually, he was originally inspired by sci-fi, written by Olaf Stapleton like decades earlier. And his idea wasn't so much a solid sphere. It was really like satellites in orbit, a network of things that would be orbiting and would essentially, what we would now say, have solar panels and are collecting that energy.
So what do you make of this study? As generally speaking, I guess, do you think it's possible that these are the elusive Dyson spheres?
So I think it's very unlikely, but I'm open. We have to be open as scientists. If we think we know the answer before we go and observe, then we're already defeated. I think it's terribly unlikely, but it's extremely exciting and interesting to think about. And it's fun to think about. What's probably going to happen is we're going to look at this infrared signature that you mentioned, and we're going to find out that there's a natural cause. So a lot of things emit heat in the infrared. You know, infrared goggles allow us to see human bodies and the heat of human bodies. And it's not that dissimilar that when we look in the infrared, we see things emitting heat. So the idea was if we had this very technologically advanced civilization, like thousands of years beyond where we are right now, and they could build such a thing and it was collecting all this energy, it would collect also some heat and would have to cool off, and we would see that in the infrared. But there are other natural possibilities that could explain.
What do you think those possibly could be?
Well, it could be a very young star that still has some material around it in kind of a disk, and that's how planets form. Planets coalesce out of these early disks, and those can emit in the infrared. It could be that there's actually an entire galaxy in the distance behind the star, and we're seeing that galaxy. We can't disambiguate those. Or it could be planetary collisions. I mean, there are natural explanations. But I think it's worth noting, we're looking just 1,000 light years around us. That sounds far, but it's actually really close. That's our backyard. The entire Milky Way galaxy is 100,000 light years across. And there are probably more planets in the Milky Way galaxy than there are stars. So we're talking of hundreds of billions and maybe trillions of planets out there. And I think we're in an era where we think the emergence of life is possibly inevitable elsewhere, that we're not the only example. Now, whether or not they've survived with thousands of years of industrial advancement to build a Dyson sphere is a different story.
Yeah. Do you think there is a scenario where a Dyson sphere might actually exist, or do you think this is really just the stuff of sci-fi fantasy?
I think it's feasible, unlikely. If you look at where we are since the Industrial Revolution, it's only a couple hundred years. We're in a precarious position. We have climate change. We have struggles with nuclear power, nuclear weapons that are could be destructive. It's unclear that any species that makes it that advanced could survive far enough into their own future to be able to build a Dyson sphere. But there are optimists out there who say we'll find a way.
All right. The universe is a pretty big place, right? And it'd be a shame if it was just us. Seems like a lot of waste of space. All right, Professor, thank you so much for being.
You gotta understand the pride of Esau. Like, if they were able to make it as far as we have, they'll probably kill each other. No, that's you. That's you. You're made for destruction. You were made to destroy. Other people's not like that. Other people are like, all right, look, you got something to eat. I got something to eat. Let's, you know what I mean? We'll live to see another day. Esau's like, you got something to eat. I want what you got. You know what I'm saying? What it says, if grape gatherers came to get grapes, wouldn't they leave some grapes? Not Esau. Esau needs to take everything. And then they don't even use it all. You know, they'll kill an animal. You know, when Gad killed an animal, buffalo, they use everything with the buffalo. Esau just hunts for sport. You know what I'm saying? So in their mind, there's no way there could be anybody else out there other than us, because they would have killed each other already. That's the mindset of the people that are running this country and this world. That's why it's just diabolically wicked. You know what I'm saying? But the end of this age is on its way. All right, we can all see that. That's why we, the Wednesday wake up call, that's what we talking about. This thing can't last because no flesh will be saved. You know what I'm saying? Esau's destroy everything. All right, so let's go Second Ezra chapter 6 and 17.
When everybody have it, please say Khan.
God,
Huh.
Khan, verse 17. And it happened that when I had heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters.
Khan, go ahead.
Verse 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth.
So you know what I mean? Seeing the chariot, right? Watching videos of multiple chariots in the sky around the world, especially in Babylon. We're in that time period, right? And let's see what he's gonna do when he visits the earth. Go ahead, can you read verse what's that? 19.
Khan, verse 19. And will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Sion shall be fulfilled.
So to make inquisition is to interrogate. So this is an interrogation process, figuring out, they that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, people that have done things to hurt others, you know what I'm saying, through their sin. Matter of fact, let's get that in the GNT. So it'll be very I don't say an easier read, you know what I'm saying, but straight to the point. I got it, King. Let me find it. So that was Second Ezra chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at 17, right? When he said this, I stood up and listened and heard a voice that sounded like a roaring river. You know what I'm saying? Most High, Yahushua voice, you know what I'm saying, speaks with authority, okay? And you haven't heard the voice of the Most High, so we've been hearing the voice of his representative, his son, and angels that have delivered messages, right? It said, the time is near when I will come to judge the people living on the earth. Verse 19, I will punish those who have hurt others with their injustice. Now, who's that? You know what I mean? Who's been the biggest oppressor on the planet? I'm not saying it's just Esau, but we all understand that's Esau, okay? I will punish those who have hurt others with their injustice. Jerusalem's humiliation will come to an end, okay? So it's going to come to an end. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. And after that's done, we get an everlasting kingdom. That's why we got to stay sharp, stay focused, keep going, don't stop, get it. All right. Now, before that happens, it's going to be some heartache. It's going to be some pain. It's going to be some Jacob's trouble. It's going to be some violence. It's going to be blood up to the horse's bridle. So we got to be prepared for these things. Okay. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 6. And you can see some of these amazing, crazy stories that are popping up. One today, brother sent me, a mother of 6 gets shot in a drive-by shooting where they shot up her house. And she was asleep in her house. She was sleeping in her bed. I guess in her bed, but she was asleep. So she died in her sleep, getting shot up. Her house. She had 6 children in there. Yeah, that's a lot of trauma. That's a lot of violence. That's a lot of things that, off the wall story, but it's starting to be okay, that's the sign of the times, you know what I mean? Like, one of these stories, take it back a couple decades, like, man, this is crazy. We gotta march, we gotta do this. Now it's like, man, this is it. We understand that these things are happening. All right, let's bring that out. Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 6.
Khan, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9 and verse 6. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
God.
Khan.
Khan, verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house.
Khan. So old and young, you know what I mean? The age does not matter in this. Keep in mind the Most High destroyed the Most High destroyed the entire world and left 8 people. Okay, and this is the same God. He doesn't change. All right, so we got to be very aware, circumspect, pay attention, focused, laser focused on not sinning, so we can not only save ourselves, you know what I mean, but continue on our bloodline. The Most High said, if you reject knowledge, I'm gonna reject you and your children. Okay, paraphrasing. So this is what happened one day in Memphis last week.
13 News at 9 starts now with breaking news. Breaking news tonight, gunfire on the interstate, a police chase across the city of Memphis. And tonight, Fox 13 is piecing together a scary series of crimes. Here's what we know at this hour. 4 people were shot at I-240 in Poplar. Fox 13 has confirmed 3 of those victims are children. We have heartbreaking photos showing people desperately trying to help one of those young victims. You see the man carrying the child in his arms. Someone drove all 4 to the hospital before the ambulance got there. All of them were listed in critical condition at last check. Memphis police spotted the armed suspects, chased them on I-40. They then tried to lose police in Raleigh. We know one officer crashed during the chase. Those gunmen wrecked about a mile later and tried to make a run for it. They hid in a neighborhood. Police found them, and they arrested 2. And tonight we have team coverage. Fox 13's Jack Bilyeu was in Raleigh where it all ended. But we start with Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson. Daniel's in East Memphis right now where this all began. And unfortunately, Daniel, we've covered a lot of interstate shootings here at Fox 13. But when children are involved, it just hits different.
I'll tell you, it never gets easy. DG, good evening to you. Yes, 3 children fighting for their lives along with an adult in a hospital tonight. Folks, this is what it has come to. I want to give you a look at where this all started. You're taking a live look tonight at I-240, just before the Poplar exit, the westbound lanes. This is where this scenario that you will hear from me and then my colleague Jack Bilyeu all started. Now, we want to show you this. You've seen it once. Let's show you again, folks, as if you need a reminder of the stark effect of gun violence. Take a look at this picture of one of those children being carried, likely just seconds after this happened. This is one of the children recovering tonight at last check, again, in critical condition in a hospital. This is what we know. This all started, police say, just after 5 this afternoon in the westbound lanes of 240, right at Poplar. Investigators say at least 2 people were in a vehicle and they shot into another vehicle carrying 3 juveniles and 1 adult. All 4 people tonight taken by private vehicle to a hospital in critical conditions. Officers say at this point they do not know a motive for the shooting, but again, it's resulted in 4 people, including 3 children, fighting for their lives in a hospital tonight. As we bring you back out live, you're taking a live look, folks, at where this incident happened. Clearly, there are questions lingering in this case, namely, again, the motive for the shooting. Was this a case of simple road rage or was this a targeted shooting? Those are all questions that we are at this hour, as we come on the air at 9 o'clock, working to get answers to. DG.
when the kids are hit, I don't care, honestly, if this was targeted, random, or whatever. It's senseless. That is Fox 13's Daniel Will.
Yeah, it's Esau's. Esau gonna put in his 2 cents regardless. Now, I don't have an update on that, but that happened last week. So all these stories within a week's time. If it was road rage, if it's targeted, two things, you know what I'm saying? If it's road rage and you got 3 children in the car with you, you have to control yourself. You have to control your anger. You got to control your temper because there's spirits that are just set for vengeance. People are on their last leg. You know what I'm saying? That person that shot up that car could have just got finished shooting up his entire house. And here you are honking your horn, burn, burn, move it, get out the way. You got children in the car. You might not care about your own life, but you got to care about your children. You know what I'm saying? Because things like this can and obviously do happen. Okay. And if it's a targeted, then, you got to ask yourself, what are you into where somebody's going to, destroy your whole bloodline? You know what I mean? But what we got to do is, I don't know the story, so I don't really want to speculate, but just the, 2 scenarios that they mentioned, we got to have that mark. You know what I mean? Got to not be, let's get Isaiah 31:1. So ingrained and so tied down to this society that, we're extremely a part of it. You know what I mean? Of course, you got to work, you got to eat, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But when it says, come out of her, my people, like mentally bring yourself out of this place. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't wait for Independence Day. You know what I mean? I'm going to fire up the grill and wear my new American flag t-shirt, and you Jake, this is Jake talking like this. You know what I'm saying? Esau, of course, this is his spot. He killed millions of people for it. You know what I'm saying? He said, I killed for this place, so I ain't giving it up. But mentally, we got to be out of this joint, pay attention to all the chariots and the things that's going on. These are judgments. The chariots aren't just showing up to say hi. They're judging this place. Okay. We're said in second Ezra, it's an interrogation, interrogation. And I'll tell you one thing, right? There are angels walking this earth right now, right? And also, if you say you go to sleep, right, and you wake up like, man, I feel like I didn't get no sleep last night, and you had a dream that you was answering a bunch of questions, you're being interrogated. That really happened. You might think it's a dream, but that's legit. Okay, so out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, these people that are getting judged have been found guilty. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring out Isaiah 31:1, Bubble Shaw.
Khan, this is the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 31 and verse 1. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan,
Verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
So we got to be seeking the Lord. You know what I mean? It's plenty of people out there that are not seeking the Most High God. So they're subjected to anything at this point. You know what I'm saying? It says, woe means destruction. So if we're trusting in this place, America got me, not necessarily. Okay. So look at, when I say not necessarily, not at all. Philadelphia, you could be, living at down 46 in Market. You know what I'm saying? That was the projects. They said, well, we want the projects and y'all gonna have to leave. You know what I mean? But trusting in this place, like, man, you know what I mean? America got me. They'll kick you out of your house in a minute. They'll say, it's not yours. You just staying here. All right, you paying rent. And now we want to build condos. That's what's happening in Philadelphia, and gentrification happened all over the country. You know what I mean? So also food stamp card called EBT cards, access cards, right? there's something where it's not working. Like this month, people like, hold up, how come my car not working? They'll say, oh, you used it up already in New York. They're like, I've never been to New York. What are you talking about? Well, somehow they got access to the number and they have access to your PIN, right? So ask yourself how something like that happens. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of migrants moving in, right? 10 tribes moving in. And not just 10 tribes, there's other, they mention 10 tribes a lot. Ukraine and, Afghanistan and everything like that, moving in. And who knows? The government says you don't need that no more. We're gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because how would you get that access? You know what I'm saying? I don't trust it. So we can't trust in this place. We gotta trust in the Most High. How do we do that? We got to follow these law, statutes, commandments. We got to go to our feast days. We got to, if you're a man, wear your beard. If you're a woman, wear a dress with some fringes on it. Man, make sure you got your fringes on. Okay? Stop eating garbage. No shrimp, no crab, no lobster, none of that stuff. Scallops, bottom feeders. When you trust in the Most High, he tells you what to do, you do it. Honor the Sabbath. What does that mean? Don't cook on the Sabbath. Don't work for wages on the Sabbath. If you're like, man, I need this job and this, that, and the third. Of course you do. We're living in captivity. You don't work, you don't eat, you can't stay in your house, you know what I mean? You can't pay your bills. But you can also get a letter saying that this is, I have religious exemption. You gotta put yourself out there and do it. And they might give you more hours on another day, have you come in on another day or whatever, but that's what you got to do. You should do it. All right. Because we got to trust in the Most High and not in this wicked kingdom. You see that it's crumbling. All right. Let's go to Philippians chapter 3 and verse 2. This place is crumbling. You have Donald Trump. I'll say it every week if I have to. Donald Trump has 34 felony charges. He is a felon. He's a stone cold felon. You know what I'm saying? But he can get a job as being the president of the United States. Make that make sense. Right? Like the elder was bringing out, you could be have a felony, one felony, and you can't work at the post office, but you could be president of the United States. Okay, and the Most High is vexing both sides, Republican and Democrat. Hunter Biden has 3 federal gun charges, convicted. He's a convicted felon as well. So, not saying they all weren't criminals before, but you hardly see them get convicted for any crimes. So now that we're seeing this, you see that the Most High is vexing them and he's bringing them down. So you don't want to hold on to that sinking ship. Like we talked about last week, the American Titanic, let it go. All right. Let's look up, keep your eyes up in the sky. You know what I mean? Look up, your redemption draweth nigh. That rhyme too. All right, let's bring that out. Philippians chapter 3, verse 2.
Khan, this is the book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 2. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 2. Beware of dogs, beware of evil workers, beware of the conscience.
So when they talked about, we talked Paul's talking about circumcision, right? But let's get Job 11 and 6, because the scriptures can be twofold. You know what I'm saying? So even though he is talking about circumcision, we're gonna bring it back to something else. Let's bring Job 11 verse 6, Bubba Kashar.
Khan, this is the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 6. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
God.
Khan.
Khan, verse 6. And that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that Yahweh
Active.
Khan, of thee, lest thine thy iniquity deserveth.
Huh. Okay. So, beware of dogs, right? Keep that in mind. Let's watch this next video. It's not funny, but it's funny. You'll see why. Now, I'm going to ask everybody. It's going to be an interactive part of the class, right? Why did this happen to this person? You tell me. Just watch the whole video, though, okay?
New at 10, a San Francisco man who survived a vicious attack by not one, but two pit bulls is having a hard time since that incident. He says he escaped being mauled to death by scaling a tall fence. And tonight he is sharing his terrifying story for the first time. KTVU's Betty Yu joins us now after speaking with that man. Betty.
Julie, the victim says he's beyond traumatized by this brutal attack that could have ended his life. The pit bulls belong to RV campers located just blocks from his Potrero Hill home. Tonight, he says he's sharing his story of survival to raise awareness about a bigger problem in the neighborhood.
I just felt something doing like this. When I look back, I saw two pit bulls.
A short walk home from the gym near Alameda and Vermont Streets took a terrifying, nearly fatal turn for Pablo Rocha. Surveillance video shows Rocha taken down by two dogs. He tries to get up, but is attacked again and again. Another camera captures his escape. Bloodied and battered, he climbs a nearby fence before the dogs eventually run off. It happened just after 6 p.m. on May 25th.
So this is my blood. This is my blood.
He underwent surgery and received 30 stitches.
In that moment, I thought I would have died. The only thing I was like, I don't believe I'm going to die like this. I just thought I would die. You know, I saw my friend was trying to help me, but the dogs were just ignoring him. This gate saved my life.
His friend Eduardo Pachu tried to fight off the dogs with a water bottle and ran to get help. Meanwhile, Rocha was stuck in an enclosed space, pleading for help from passing drivers.
The cars just stopped and left.
Rocha said police later told him the majority of the 911 calls received at the time described him as a burglary suspect.
The bites of the dog hurt a lot. But to know the reason they didn't stop to help me, that was very painful.
SFPD said it arrested two suspects, 39-year-old Hillary Flynn and 31-year-old Jesse Alley of San Francisco. The woman is facing charges including failure to control a dangerous dog, resisting arrest, and also had outstanding warrants.
It's been the better part of 7 years that we've been fighting to get our neighborhood cleaned up. And it gets cleaned up, it comes back. It gets cleaned up, it comes back. We call 311 constantly.
Rocha's husband, Robert Fountain, has lived in the neighborhood for 15 years. In that time, he's witnessed its degradation.
I'm on high alert from the time I leave the gym door until the time I get inside my door. And that's not right.
Fountain has spent 3 decades as an event designer who has produced several of the city's high-profile marquee galas.
Had Pablo not been 6'6", and 220 pounds and healthy, I'd be planning a funeral today. And the city that I love so much and has given me so much would have taken, and I'm getting emotional, would have taken the thing that meant the most to me away.
This is not like remove one dog. We have more situations.
Animal Care and Control confirmed that they confiscated those dogs, but it would not elaborate on the process to determine their fate. Now, the court released the male suspect on his own recognizance with electronic monitoring and a stay-away order from the victim. The preliminary hearing for this case is set for Wednesday. Julie?
Yeah, Betty, that video is just hard to watch. I mean, he's a big man. That's a big fence. Just imagine if it was a child or an elderly person who could not have made it over that fence. Now, the victim says this isn't just about one RV and two dogs. He says this is all part of a much bigger problem. What did you see when you were out there today?
Julie, we definitely saw more than a dozen RVs, other vans parked in and around the same area under the overpass. We also spotted other dogs. A store owner I spoke with says that he's been there for many years and he's also frustrated and concerned with safety in this neighborhood, especially after businesses in the area close early in the evening.
All right.
Yep, San Francisco. That place is probably like, well, okay, before we get to that, can anybody guess why those dogs tore him up and left his friend there? Didn't bother his friend? And you know, use the terminology for we're actually online now, so not trying to get kicked off. Anybody? Anybody now?
Shalakia. What was they sodomites?
There you go. There you go. That is the key. That's what I was looking. I was like, Pablo Rashi. I mean, you know, it could be Pablo, might be, you know, 10 tribes, then Rashi. I'm like, sounds more Elam. Then the more I watched it, I'm like, and the husband of the victim, I'm like, oh, right. There you go.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even hear that part. I just heard him describing. I'm like, why is he describing his height and weight? Like, what is that, his dude?
Good job. Good job. Absolutely. Right. Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, he can 6'6". I mean, the person who I love the most, I'm getting emotional now. I'm saying all sodomitish. Yeah. So definitely a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? Maybe San Francisco might all repent. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? That place is Sodom and Gomorrah at that place. Go ahead, Ty.
Khan Salakia, I definitely have to read this in the GNT.
Khan.
Khan. This is the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 6 in the GNT. He will tell you there are many sides to wisdom. There are things too deep for human knowledge. God is punishing you less than you deserve. So that's on the less end what he got.
God. Yeah. Still alive, right? Because if say he couldn't scale that, he said he couldn't fight back them pit bulls. You know what I mean? And imagine getting bit. I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? Lions and you know those, but them little dogs, they bite and they hold on. You know what I mean? It seemed like they would play around with them. You know, but they ain't like they was playing though. They ain't like they was playing at all. Yes. All right. So moving on to the let's go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 12. All right. Jake's wilding out on this one. You know what I mean? Jake is wilding. And I don't know if you've been watching, right? The Christian church has been taking a hit this week. They took a hit. With this story, the next story, and I can't think of the guy's name. Let me see if I can find it. Prince something. Anybody knows, feel free to chime in. It's Prince something. What the story is that he's like, I've been watching those Hebrew Israelites. They know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So, see if I can find it. Pastor Fred Price Jr. Fred Price Jr. He said, yo, social media, they're taking over social media, but you listen to them. They know what they're talking about. We are the Israelites. So he went from Christianity to being a Hebrew. Hopefully he can keep the law, statutes, commandments and really keep this thing going. You know what I mean? And more people will look up, like, maybe they're not so bad. You know, well, let me listen to them. They're always yelling on the corner. Let me actually listen to what they're saying. Keep the law, statutes, commandments. It's pretty much cut and dry. Stop sinning. All right, let's bring that out. Jeremiah 6 and verse 12.
Khan, this is the book of the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 12. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan. Khan.
Khan, verse 12. And their houses shall be turned unto others, with their fields and wives together. For I will stretch out my hand upon the inhabitants of the Lord of the land, saith the Lord.
So we got to keep in mind, right? Well, we read with Job 11 verse 6, two fold meanings. You know what I mean? We talked about Babylon. Talk about also modern day Babylon, ancient Babylon, modern day Babylon. Same thing with Israel. Israel's drawing, Israel's in the way. We really didn't change so much. You know what I mean? Actually, progressively getting worse and worse. Okay. So this story is, we understand that the Most High will cancel two people out. You know what I mean? Somebody is deep in his sin, and somebody else is deep in their sin, and this person kills that person goes to jail forever, and that person's dead. Canceled out, right? For the most part. So with this story, it's similar. You have a pastor that is stealing people's stuff, not just stealing, of course, we all know pastors, yeah, they steal the money, and now they got the driving around in the Bentley, Beamer, Benz, and Bentley. But this guy's stealing churches. This man is stealing churches. Then he's going in there and like, yo, it's my church. And they're like, is it? They're like, yeah, here's paperwork. They're like, oh, okay. This dude was stealing churches, fraudulently stealing churches. Can you read verse 13?
Verse 13. For from the least of them, even unto the greatest of them, everyone is given to the covetousness. And from the prophet, even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely.
So let's watch this next video.
A Dallas pastor will spend 35 years in prison for stealing 3 churches in Dallas County. Whitney Foster created fraudulent deeds for those churches, taking control of the properties. But prosecutors say they have evidence he illegally took control of additional properties. Fox Sports' Peyton Yeager spoke to a prosecutor on the case and joins us now live. Peyton.
Heather, in First Christian Church of Lancaster is the first church that really sounded the alarm back in 2019. Once Lancaster police brought the case here to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, investigators uncovered that Foster was tied to other churches here in the county. A Dallas County jury sentenced 56-year-old Whitney Foster to 35 years in prison for stealing real estate from 3 churches in both Dallas and Lancaster. Last month, the Dallas pastor was found guilty of felony theft after filing fraudulent deeds to take the 3 properties valued at more than $800,000.
What he wanted people to think was that because he was a nonprofit, that he had the ability, the right to just move in on another nonprofit's property.
Dallas County Assistant District Attorney Philip Clark says First Christian Church of Lancaster was the first church to take notice back in 2019. According to this arrest warrant affidavit, the church told police someone named Aaron Finley claimed to be the chairman of the Lancaster church and sold the property to Foster for $10. There was no one on the board named Aaron Finley. Clark tells Fox 4 Foster testified he thought the Lancaster church was abandoned even after he attended a Sunday service and spoke with the church's leadership.
And then lo and behold, days later, they find that he's filed this deed.
Investigators uncovered Foster's fraudulent scheme was also tied to 2 Dallas churches, Church at Nineveh and Canada Drive Church. As of Monday, both churches are in Foster or his church's name. Foster's congregation, True Foundation Non-Denominational Church, is still actively gathering on Canada Drive. We asked Clark, what does he believe were Foster's intentions?
I have to assume that it's ambition. I have to assume that he's wanting to grow a congregation. He was just taking it upon himself to take property from other people, and he completely upended and disrupted other congregations.
Before all of this, Clark says Foster's small congregation did not have a physical place to gather. It took First Christian Church of Lancaster years to recover ownership. However, it's still trying to fix the problems Foster created.
If you own a home or any property, pay attention, take care of it, monitor it. And if something comes along your radar that looks problematic, act on it.
So the three churches that we named, those were the three churches that were used to indict Foster. Now, during the punishment phase, prosecutors presented 7 additional fraudulent deeds that were tied to Foster. So Heather and Steve, that is 10 properties in total. Foster does plan to appeal.
The founding pastor of Gateway.
Oh, okay, that's enough. We'll get back to that one. But yeah, see, he's walking in, see, like the pastors, they don't own these churches, you know what I'm saying? They're on the board. There's people that are on the board, so that's when you get into the 501c3. They don't know who owns the churches. You just say, hey, I got paperwork saying I own the church. They're like, okay, guess you can have it now. So this dude was just taking over on churches, knowing that people didn't know, really who even owns these churches. So when churches say, hey, we're having crab night and shrimp scampi and all this other stuff, that thing's coming from the top. You know what I'm saying? The pastor's just the mouthpiece. He's like the president of the church rather than the actual owner of the church. And somebody that gives them instructions on how to move and how to get people away from the law, statutes, and commandments. And then you better not mention those Israelites. You better not do. You know what I mean? So now we see Jake. Let's go to Esau. Let's go to Jeremiah 49:10. They're taking a hit. They're taking a hit this week. Khan, go ahead, King. I see you got your hand up.
Con. I had like 2 precepts to go what you were saying in regards to the churches and the preachers. If you could get the book of Sirach chapter 20 and verse number 9, but for sure.
Khan, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 9. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 9. There is a sinner that have good success in evil things, and there is a gain that turneth to loss.
Con. So again,
so
yeah, he was a sinner then, again, stealing these churches things. He was doing everything in evil. So he thought that was a gain for him, but it ultimately just turned into a big loss, which now he got to do jail time and suffer from it. That's only not only for pastors, but for people who live in wickedness. It's always a price to pay that you think you're going to continue to sin and do evil things, and nothing is never going to come upon you, and you're going to have to pay for those things. So all the wickedness you do in those evil things is ultimately a price to pay at the end, and what he's going to have to pay due to jail time. And I had one more, which was also in the book of Sirach, 21 and verse number 8. 21 and 8. Bubba Shaw.
Khan, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse 8. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 8. He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathered himself stones for the tomb of his burial.
So with these pastors, they do all this wickedness and everything about people's money. So he's been stealing churches, other people hard on things for his own personal gain. And they don't know, ultimately, all that is doing is collecting stones for their own burial and their own destruction. So they doing all this, building their own house off everybody else. You don't know every time they do that they collecting a new stone and making it deeper for their own burial. And I yield, okay.
Excellent precepts. The water. Yeah, they ain't looking good. They ain't looking good, falling apart over there. Excellent precepts, King. All right. Now let's get to the Edomite pastor. Jake stealing What's Esau doing? Being a perv. Let's bring that out in Jeremiah 49, verse 10.
Con, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 10. When everybody have it, please say con.
Con.
Con, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not.
Con. So what we're learning with these Edomites, well, you know what I mean, which we should be very aware of, that they're like pretty perverted. You know what I'm saying? From the Greeks and the Romans, Greeks doing, having a gym, naked, and you know what I'm saying? They just do disgusting things, you know what I'm saying? And we says make Esau bare. You don't have to make Esau bare. He'll take his clothes off in a heartbeat. But you know what I mean? It's being exposed. You know what I mean? So these Edomites are being exposed. This thing that this guy did with this little girl, it happened in the 80s. And now he's being exposed. Now we're gonna see the explosion happen of, hold on, you know what I mean? That happened to me in the 90s, happened to me in 2000, because that's 40 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And more of these Edomites are going to be exposed in these last days, that they're all perverts, you know what I'm saying? Deviants, if you will. Okay, so here's the next video. It's pastor of a mega church. He is, and now they haven't officially charged him, right? I don't know if there's a statute of limitations on what he did, but I'm sure the more people that come out, this guy's going to go from the pulpit to the prosecutor's office. You know what I'm saying?
The founding pastor of Gateway Church, Robert Morris, resigned after a woman accused him of sexually assaulting her beginning when she was just 12 years old. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. The woman says the abuse lasted from 1982 to 1987. The woman's allegations surfaced over the weekend. She says Morris sexually abused her while he and his wife were guests in her family's home in Oklahoma. Morris said he was involved in an inappropriate sexual behavior in his 20s with what he called, quote, was a young lady, stating there was no intercourse, but it was wrong. No criminal charges have been filed to this point. Morris.
Young lady, she's 12 years old, man. That's not a young lady. That's a child. Let's go.
Founded the church in South Lake in 2000. With 100,000 members currently, Gateway is now one of the largest churches in the entire country.
Gateway's Board of Elders accepted Morris's resignation today and released a statement saying they knew Morris had an extramarital affair, but prior to Friday, they did not have all the facts of the inappropriate relationship between Morris and the victim, including her age at the time and the length of the abuse. They went on to say, "We are heartbroken and appalled."
See that board of elders? You know what I'm saying? He's the pastor, but they have a board of elders. Okay. Now let's get Revelation 16, verse 7. Let's talk about the Saudis, the Saudis. All right. How to deal with these people. They're very racist. They do continue to have still engaged in slavery, right? And when you look at this video, notice the people that are handing out the waters and doing all the work are the Negroes, for the most part. Something I just picked up, you don't hardly see any so-called black people in Saudi Arabia unless they're working. All right. But let's bring that out. Revelation chapter 16 and verse 7.
When everybody have it, please say con.
Con.
Con, verse 7. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Yahweh thy power true and righteous are thy judgments.
All right, ain't that the truth? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, veil upon the sun, Salakia, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
Yes. So, you look at what's going on in Egypt, the highest it's been, the hottest it's been. There's a heat wave going on right now here in Philadelphia, and it's only June. So it's going down. And we're going to get another video at the end of this dealing with Esau and how he is wasting away as we speak. Okay. And every hour that goes by, you're going to know how many Edomites kick the dust or kick the bucket, Salakia, and bite the dust or whatever it's called. Due to the sun that actually gives life, and sun kisses us and gives us vitamin D and energy. To them, it's the exact opposite. But what's happening to the Arabians? Let's go to read verse 9 too.
Verse 9. And men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of Yahweh, which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
They're like, Allah, why are you doing this to us, Allah? Allah ain't got nothing to do with it. You talking to the wrong, you talking to the wrong God. Okay? So, Allah, blue. That would be wild when we say that. Allah Akbar, blue. All right. Let's see what happened now. It says 14, right? They're up to 550 last time I checked. 550. So when you hear 14, that's just this report. It's 550. Let's go.
More than 2,760 pilgrims suffered from heat stroke due to intense heat. Tragically, 14 Jordanian pilgrims lost their lives during the first day of stoning. Medical teams and security forces were on site to provide immediate care and support for those affected by the heat.
Damn, man down. Arab in distress. Let's get Obadiah 1 verse 15 on deck. Because remember, they did this to us because we were enslaved by them, and they would cut our Achilles heel, and we would have to crawl in the desert, the Sahara Desert. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was Sahara Desert. Either way. So now what's happening to them? Okay, Most High ain't playing. No jokes, no games being played. All right. So let's continue.
Most of Hajj rituals take place outdoor and require walking considerable distance between the sites. To manage the intense heat, Saudi authorities have implemented various safety measures, including cooling stations, medical tents, and hydration points. Pilgrims are advised to stay hydrated and seek shade whenever.
Oh, let's not jump the gun there. Get to that. But yeah, let's bring that out. Obadiah 1 verse 15.
Khan, this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 15. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
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 Khan, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
Khan, did it thus, happening to you. Deal with it. So he said 2,000 people have collapsed from heat stroke, but 550 last time I checked, they ain't make it out. You know what I'm saying? So they went to their pilgrimage, and their pilgrimage was straight to the burial ground. All right, let's bring First Maccabees chapter 5 and verse 38, because they're not blameless. at all. They weren't blameless then, blameless during the transatlantic or sub-Saharan slave trade. So they've been using us as currency for a while. So now the Most High God going to have to give them a little taste of their own medicine. Go ahead, Ty.
God, I want to read that out of the GNT too as well. I want to add a little bit more hammer feel with that too. God, this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 15 out of the GNT. The day is near when I, the Lord, will judge all nations. Edom, what you have done will be done to you. You will give back what you have given.
Yeah. You reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? So these heathens are going to get destroyed. Hey, Yar, is that do you put your hand up? Is that your hand? Is that from before? So it might be from before. Okay. All right, let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 5 and verse 38.
Khan, this is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 5 and verse 38. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan,
verse 38. So Judas sent men to Espy the host, who brought him word, saying, all the heathen that be round about us are assembled unto them, even a very great host.
Khan, go ahead.
Verse 39. He have also hired the Arabians to help them, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. Upon this, Judas went to meet them.
Khan. All right. So let's go to 2 Chronicles 20 verse 23. And we're going to talk about heathens getting together. Heathens are mounting up. They want to rumble. We ain't got no pony in this fight, or no horse in this race, whatever. Let them destroy each other. Okay, so hold that 2 Chronicles 20 and 23. We'll watch this quick video.
A friendly chit-chat. Before Russian President Vladimir Putin and his North Korean host Kim Jong-un signed an agreement that is likely to worry the West and have global consequences. United by massive and strict sanctions imposed by the US-led West, the two leaders on June 19th entered into a pact that includes a clause requiring the countries to come to each other's defense if either is attacked.
조로 사이 포괄적인 전략적 동반자 관계에 관한 조약이 체결됨으로 하여 우리 두 나라 관계는 정치와 경제, 문화, 군사 등 여러 방면에서의 호상 협력 확대로서 두 나라의 진보와 인민들의 복리 증진을 이룩할 수 있는 보다 훌륭한 전망적 발전 궤도 위에 올라서게 되었습니다.
По итогам подписан новый межгосударственный договор о всеобъемлющем стратегическом партнерстве. Это касается политической, торговой, инвестиционной, культурно-гуманитарной области, а также в сфере безопасности.
While the details of what Putin called a breakthrough deal were not immediately clear, it could, as some experts suggest, mark the strongest connection between Moscow and Pyongyang since the end of the Cold War. The bonhomie between the two leads was at full display as Kim Jong-un addressed Putin as the dearest friend of the Korean people, and the Russian president in turn thanked North Korea for consistent and unwavering support. Putin last visited Pyongyang in 2000 as a newly elected president. Now, nearly a quarter of a century on, he has returned as he faces isolation from the West, especially after Russia's invasion of Ukraine more than 2 years ago. Observers see this as the Russian president's way of sending a dual message, one to the West that Russia isn't alone, and second, to other Asian countries that Moscow is an important player in the region. Apart from the geopolitical messaging, the deal could also boost Putin's war chest. The agreement has been signed as Putin faces an apparent desperation to secure ammunition to support Russia's war in Ukraine. Observers suggest that the deal could also have a clause facilitating an official weapons transfer from Pyongyang to Moscow, something the West has long been fearing. Before the defense pact was signed, Putin thanked Kim for North Korea's support in Ukraine, which Kiev's Western allies might see as a confirmation on Moscow's part of receiving weapons from Pyongyang despite sanctions.
Высоко ценим последовательную и неизменную поддержку вами российской политики, в том числе на украинском направлении, имея в виду нашу борьбу с навязанной на протяжении десятилетий гегемонистской политики со стороны империалистической политики со стороны Соединенных Штатов и их сателлитов в отношении Российской Федерации.
Putin also warned that Russia and North Korea will not tolerate what he called Western blackmail that comes in the form of sanctions. He said Russia and Korea have an independent foreign policy and do not tolerate the language of blackmail and diktats. Kim has used similar language in the past, consistently saying North Korea supports what he describes as a just action to protect Russia's interests and blaming the crisis on the US-led West's hegemonic policy. For the North Korean leader Kim, Putin's visit and the deal comes at a time of heightened tensions along the demilitarized zone separating the two Koreas, with reports of North Korean soldiers fortifying defenses and South Korean soldiers again firing warning shots to ensure they stay on their side of the border. South Korea sees this as a blatant attempt by North Korea to fully exploit Russia's need for further military support, suspecting it of trying to secure, in return, not only advanced space rocket technology, but also an economic boost after decades of crippling sanctions by way of trade emigration of North Korean workers. Last September, Putin hosted Kim at a cosmodrome in Russia's Far East as North Korea works on developing a technology to put a spy satellite into space. In addition to security, Putin said the current partnership includes cooperation in political and humanitarian fields, while adding that Russia would not rule out developing military technical cooperation with North Korea under the deal. According to the Kremlin's website, they also signed an agreement on building a road bridge on their border, and another on cooperation in health care, medical education, and science. The last time two countries signed a treaty was in 1961 when North Korea entered into a pact with then Soviet Union. The treaty, experts say, necessitated Moscow's military intervention if North came under an attack. The deal was discarded after the collapse of the USSR, replaced by a pact in 2000 that offered weaker security assurances. Considering the huge geopolitical implications of Putin's visit as the US-led unipolar world order witnesses a shift, the world is closely watching the trip. In Washington, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Putin's visit to North Korea illustrates how Russia tries, in desperation, to develop and to strengthen relations with countries that can provide it with what it needs to continue the war of aggression that it started against Ukraine. Koo Byung-sam, spokesperson of South Korea's Unification Ministry, which handles inter-Korean affairs, said the Seoul government was still interpreting the results of the summit, including what Russia's response might be if the North comes under attack. Another country keeping a close eye on the developments is China, which has strong ties with both countries. China is North Korea's biggest ally and economic lifeline, accounting for most of the country's trade. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said high-level exchanges between Moscow and Pyongyang are bilateral arrangements between two sovereign states, without giving a specific assessment of the agreements. As Putin continues to court his neighbors as an alternative power bloc to the West, experts see current trip as a good way to make the West nervous by demonstrating Moscow has interests and clout beyond Ukraine.
It's funny, the US has nerve, man. You know what I'm saying? The white man has more nerve than a toothache. He's talking about it's a desperate act, but then you see Zelensky every 5 minutes, like, yo, man, you got them billions of dollars, man. I need some weapons, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just going to country after country, just begging. That's desperate. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. We gonna dance when they start shooting each other. Let's get Second Chronicles 20 and verse 23.
Khan, this is the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 20 and verse 23. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Yeah.
Verse 23. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another.
So let them get all together and then jump Esau, and then Esau realized I don't like you Japs anyway, and then they start destroying them, and then it's just, you know what I mean? It just all unravels, you know what I'm saying? World War III. So now Russia's giving oil, and North Korea has the weapons, and it's gonna keep on going, you know what I mean? And if you haven't heard, the draft is coming back, right? So what this is, they, you know, of course they have the what do they call, the fact checkers are like, it's not the draft, it's just a selective service, and you know it's always been going on, but then they stopped it. Now they're bringing it back. Why would they bring it back? Why would they bring that back? So you're automatically enrolled, you know what I'm saying, that you could be drafted at any time, because you're going to be drafted at any time. Because when you look at Ukraine is a perfect example. We get to see what happened in Ukraine and what's going to happen here in America. Ukraine's telling their people everything's fine. Don't worry. Don't go anywhere. Keep going to work. Pay your taxes. All right. Nothing here to see. Some people said, I don't believe you. And they left, right? They went to Poland and stuff like that, right? So what's going on is your government will never tell you what's really going to happen. But if you have eyes to see, you can see what's going to happen. It's World War III. They're going over to North Korea, getting guns and stuff. NATO said, we're giving you F-16s where they can hold nuclear capable weapons on those planes. Remember when Joe Biden's like, we're not giving them warplanes, we're not giving them weapons that can reach into Russia. That's called World War III. He like said it really distinct in the microphone. You can literally YouTube it, and you can see him say that. So now they're giving them warplanes, they're giving them weapons that can reach into Russia, and that's what we call World War III. And that's why Russia's going over to North Korea, their other crazy cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you got me, you know, things pop off. You got me, like, yeah, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Went over to Cuba, like, what's happening? Y'all cool? Like, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? We might need some, you know, who knows what I don't know what the conversation that happened over there in Cuba, but they went over there with nuclear submarines and warships, and one of them warships is off the coast of Miami right now, like really close. So like they said, the submarine left. They're like, oh, good, nuclear submarine left, but the warship's still there. They ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is this: World War III is happening. They're going to draft you. You know what I'm saying? Don't think that they're going to be the ones fighting. Hunter Biden ain't going to put down his crack pipe to pick up a gun. It's going to be your children. You know what I'm saying? And even you, because it says it's from 18 to 26. You're like, oh, I'm good. I'm not 26 anymore. But look what's happening in Ukraine. Those people are in their 60s and 70s. They're like, I don't care how old you are. Get a gun, take a bullet. This is for your country. And they dragging people out of the cars like they're on the way to work. They can't even make it to work. They have roadblocks. Like, you're a man, you're fighting. That's what it's coming down to. And women, you're going to be fighting too. Okay. Hate to break it to you, but that independent woman spirit is got to go. And this is the Most High. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? This is the Most High's work. I don't need no man. Okay. So now you're going to have white zaddy putting you in the front line, putting a gun in your hand saying, you're going to fight. You know what I mean? I don't listen to no man. Well, you're going to be listening to your drill sergeant when he wakes you up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you got to run 2 miles because you're going to be on the front line learning how to fight. And they said, if you're pregnant, though, then you're not going to have to fight. So how many women are going to say, I love my husband. Let's have some more babies, because you don't want to fight and die in some random country, you know what I'm saying? For, white zaddy. So that spirit is going to, you're going to see, trust and believe, that spirit is going to hop up off our women real quick. Okay. And then you're going to have Isaiah, the 4th chapter. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care about none of that. Just take away our reproach. Okay. Give us some children. You know what I'm saying? So that is, you can see how God works. God is a mastermind. His program is going to get implemented, whether you like it, understand it, believe it or not. Okay. He said, be fruitful and multiply. That's what he means. Okay. That's going to add on to more Israelite babies. Okay. Now, let's end on an awesome note. Okay. Let's go to Job chapter 15 and verse 30. It's hilarious. Okay. It's actually very funny. Esau and the sun, we talked about that. The sun is destroying Esau. Black hole sun, won't you come? It is nothing they can really do about it. But what we can do is praise God. You know what I'm saying? Praise Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Because every minute that goes by, they're getting cooked. Let's get it.
All right, lots of us are going to be out in the weather in the next couple of weeks and months enjoying summer, and health officials have a warning about continuous rises in skin cancer, and this is nationwide. New cases of melanoma have been rising at about a rate of 2 to 3% each year. The American Cancer Society estimates more than 100,000 new cases of melanoma will be diagnosed this year alone. Joining us now is board certified dermatologist, Dr. Tess Mauricio. Thank you for being with us. Let's talk first just about
100,000 this year alone. There's only 365 days a year. They're getting cooked. But this doctor also has some statistics that you might want to put down for going to camp. Esau wants to get proud. Well, you're shrinking, Esau. You're wasting away. Here, let me continue.
skin protection. There are so many ways that we can prevent skin cancer. What is the best thing we need to be doing right now in terms of SPF and when we go outside to protecting our skin?
Slacky, let's just start with some scripture. Let's get Job chapter 15 and verse 30.
Khan, this is the book of Job, chapter 15 and verse 30. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 30. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away.
Khan, okay. The flame is drying up his branches. It's looking bad for Esau. Okay, go ahead. Read next verse, please.
Verse 31. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense.
So he's trusting in evil. Evil is going to be his reward. Go ahead.
It shall be accomplished before his time, and his branch shall not be green.
He's wasting away. Let's continue. Hold that. We'll come back to the rest of that. Let's hear what the doc got to say.
Well, thanks for having me, Marnie. And, skin cancer is by far the most common cancer in the United States, and more than 2 people will die of skin cancer every hour. So it's very important.
Every hour, 2 Edomites is checking, just off the strength of the sun destroying them. Okay, the Most High destroying them. Okay, so this want to keep that in mind. You know what I mean? You're sitting there at work for an hour. He's like, man, this hour was terrible. Well, at least 2 Edomites check. Let's continue.
And sun protection is key because the majority of melanomas is really caused by significant UV exposure. In fact, having 5 or more sunburns will double your risk for melanoma. And so applying broad spectrum sunscreen, wearing sun protective clothing, seeking shade, wearing your hats, your sunglasses, reapplying sunscreen.
So they're gonna have to go back in the caves. You know what I'm saying? No more sitting out on the beach. 5 skin burns when you start to peel and fall apart. You're double your risk for skin cancer. Okay. So back in the caves they go.
These are all very, very important to prevent melanoma.
So you've got to lather on the sunscreen, cover up when you can, find shade. How about self-checks? I mean, should we be looking for, Dr. Mauricio, on our bodies that would be concerning enough to go in and have a dermatologist take a look?
We have to really remember the ABCDEs of melanoma. A is for asymmetry, B for border irregularity, C color variation, D diameter larger than 6 millimeter or the eraser of a pencil, and E for evolution of color, shape, or if there's any itching, burning, bleeding. For sure, you need to see a dermatologist because early detection is key. When caught early, melanoma in its early stages has a 5-year survival rate of over 99%. Once it spreads to other areas, then that survival rate goes down to 35%.
So we know sunburns can be really bad. You mentioned that doubles your risk. What are some other factors that might be associated with skin cancer that we should keep in mind?
Indoor tanning is huge, Marnie. So no one should really be tanning anymore. We know this for sure. You get a lot of UV exposure. Not only are you increasing your risk for skin cancer, but you are accelerating your skin aging as well.
Good advice to keep our skin safe. Dr. Tess Mauricio, thank you. Have a safe and happy summer. Thank you for watching.
Have a safe summer. That sun's gonna cook them. Can you read verse 33?
God, verse 33. He shall shake off his unripe grape as the vine, and shall cast off his flower as the olive.
You know what I'm saying? They're checking early. They're falling apart. They're wasting away. This flame, this fire, the sun that gives everything life, is destroying them. Go ahead, can we read verse 34?
Verse 34. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery.
So these hypocrites, these liars, okay, they got everything, the things they got through fraud, you know what I'm saying? Bribing, slipping somebody some money, you know what I mean? And what they call lobbying and all that stuff, you know what I mean? They're gonna get destroyed, Of course, you're gonna have the nuclear fire, but the sun is doing its job, isn't it? Isn't it? The radiation, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, we get 35.
Verse 35. They conceived mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepared deceit.
Let's get Malachi 4 verse 1. Excellent precept. Yes, so Esau is falling apart. Let him fall. We have to get ourselves in order. We got to get ourselves together, because as you see, Esau's not the only one getting judged right now. We are as well, right? Because the judgment is going to begin with the house of God. All right. So we got to figure this thing out. We got to follow these law, statutes, commandments, figure it out quick. Had a dream the other night. Somebody was, I don't know who this person was, but you're taking a selfie. You can see the background. You can see the back of you or whatever. It's about 50 yards. It's the Grim Reaper. He was there 50 yards, and in a split second, boom, he was right in the back of somebody. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who this person is, so it might not have been as important who the person was. Might be just a representative that this Grim Reaper, the Reaper, the HOI, the angels are fast. They're quick, taking people out of here. Okay. You know, don't just think I got a million years to get myself together. We got to make haste to follow these commandments. All right. Let's bring that out. Malachi 4, verse 1.
Khan, this is the book of Malachi, chapter 4 and verse 1. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Con.
Khan.
Khan, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
Yeah, they got to go. They got to go. It's time to go, Esau. All right. Play a lot of games. You know what I mean? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And your stupid prizes is destruction. Utterly. All right, let's go. Last verse, second Ezra 6, verse 20. All right. So hopefully you're edified, learn some new things on this Wednesday. Wake up calls to wake up to all Israel, 12 tribes, wake up. You know, Neo, get out of the matrix. Stop sinning. You know, be as righteous as you can. And if you mess up today, don't mess up the same thing tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just constantly keep building, because we're in a time period where the major superpowers are getting together. You got a warship, a Russian warship right off the coast of Miami. Ain't no games being played. Pestilence, all types of stuff going on. All right. And the Christian church is getting destroyed. Right. This might be a week of earthquakes. Let's see what happens. Okay. Might be some big earthquakes coming. Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 20, Baba Kashar.
Khan, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 20. When everybody have it, please say Khan.
Con.
Khan.
Khan, verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether.
Khan. Okay, so he's showing us signs. Okay, and this world is vanishing away. This world is being deleted. Okay, Esau's kingdom is getting destroyed. All right, you can see it. There's no question. You know what I'm saying? It's not a whole bunch of people that are like, I don't think so. Yeah, you can see it. Everybody can see it. All right, so chariots in the sky, warships out the coast of Miami. Let's figure this thing out. Let's follow these law, statutes, commandments. Read this book, and repent daily, and you know, Most High willing, we can make it into the kingdom. Drink some wine with Yahushua. All right, Kwom Yashala.